It's now time for the J&J Burke Home Show on K-Law 101. For the next 30 minutes, you'll hear information that will save you money around your house. With your hosts, Eric Sherem and Jay Burke.
And a good morning, Southwest Oklahoma. Saturday morning with sunshine, blue skies, and batten down the hatches from yesterday.
Wow, wasn't it amazing yesterday with the hail and the winds and the
It's so
trucks?
typical
I
for this time of the year.
Oh, wow. I was out on the east side of town, and my daughter, she's in Weatherford, she goes to school there, and she calls to say, I'm afraid for her, and she's afraid for me. Dad, where are you? Are you safe? I'm looking at the thing. It says it's bad in Lawton, and I know a lot of people yesterday, and some of the hail was absolutely amazing that I saw online.
Yeah.
Eric, I'm assuming there's a lot of roof damage and car damage and stuff like that all over this part of the state.
And with that, last week's guest with Keith Jackson, I noticed on Facebook he put this morning just a reminder, check the references, be reputable, because, there are storm chasers that are out there and not chasing the storm. It's the storm chasers after that just kind of go up to damage. Hey, we can repair that. We're in town. We're just going to give you a good deal. And then they blow out of town just as fast as the storm is, and it may not be up to what you were expecting.
Absolutely. And we say the same thing for heating and air companies or any kind of companies. Do your research. I mean, go and find out if these companies, how long have they been in business, and are they local companies? And we have heating and air companies that do the same thing. They'll come through and be here for 6 months or a year, and when they leave, so does your warranties. And so today we're lucky enough that we're going to have a guest that's going to talk about electrical today. I mean, we have went from heating and air to savings from PSO and CenterPoint, and some of those people that do the testing. We've just done it all so far. I'm really excited because the show every week has something different that we're trying to help our listeners get some insight on.
And then also save you money, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. If you ever have a question, or of course, we're going to have our special guest talk about what prize they're going to give away. Each week we kind of give away something, and we had several that went to info@jjburk.com. Thank you for doing that. Continue to do so. We'd like to hear from you in that way, even if you have a question. And if you think, well, that kind of sounds absurd, you've heard them all. So it doesn't matter if it's a heat and air question or, this morning's going to be electrical. If you have a question, just go to info@jjburk.com. Even during the show, we may check that out and may read yours on the air. Or you can call our direct phone line, 581-3605. It's a recorded message system, so you just leave your message there, 581-3605, or info@jjburk.com. Now, big news before we get into our special guests and everything else, because I had to ask, because it's going to be a weekly update with this. You are the rebate king, and we talk about that with rebates from PSO and and CenterPoint Energy that gives you the opportunity. And I think that we've spent several weeks going over the fact that no, this is not a sham, this is not a scam. They're not going to try to oversell you stuff. It's just rebates because they want you to be more efficient as well, because it helps the overall integrity of the whole system as far as electrical in the state of Oklahoma, or gas when it's CenterPoint Energy. So both of them have been offering rebates. So I have to ask on a weekly basis, where are we at with the rebates?
The PSO rebates ran out just yesterday, Friday at 5 o'clock.
Kidding.
So,
wow.
Yeah, out of money. So
before everybody says, "Oh no, I missed my opportunity," there may be an opportunity later on at the end of the year, so to speak.
Well, what's happened is we think it'll probably be sometime around August before they try to use what the remainder of the money is left, and we don't know exactly how much that is.
Tail end of the heat and air system.
The sad part is we don't know if they'll lower the rebate amounts at this point, or
because they were giving up to what? How much?
Up to $5,000.
Up to $5,000. Yeah.
Yeah, and so. On average, most people were averaging about $3,000 was the average to get stuff done in their home. So, and these were instant rebates. So I'm sad for those customers that didn't get to use it. Yesterday we were bombarded with trying to get everybody in before 5 p.m. the deadline to get them submitted. But that doesn't mean we still can't come look at your house, still evaluate your house, and still get you,
because you need to know this.
Well, and you can still get some CenterPoint rebates. They still have the $2,000 rebates. So, and again, it's the same story. I mean, these rebates are not endless. So it's if you have an opportunity and you think that it's something that you might be interested in, call us. We have free estimates, and I'd be happy to come out myself and take a look and let you know what you qualify for.
take Jay up on that, the free estimates. Knowledge is the key, and I know in the real estate business, when a transaction is done with the house, they'll get an inspector go in, and he won't tell you everything that's necessarily broke. He will point those out to you, but he'll also give you knowledge like, I think your roof is this old, your heat and air system is this old, meaning that, no, you're not going to get it replaced now, but it may be 3 years down the road. It may be 10 years down the road, but just having that knowledge. So check it out. And then for those who are on the fence for the CenterPoint Energy, the gas rebates, maybe the time is to not delay there as well.
Yeah, I would say strike now if you get with it and give us a call. And we can, like I say, as soon as PSO comes back with numbers for us, and we know for sure, we've been told August before they bring whatever leftover money that there is for the year. So, but that doesn't mean we can't get you checked out and see if you would qualify anyway. And some people, they just want to upgrade. So maybe they will wait till August to do that. But some are saying, all right, my unit's out. Well, obviously they can't wait, but at least we can still get CenterPoint rebates.
I got you. All right, this is the J&J Burke Home Show each and every Saturday morning at this time around 9 a.m., giving you all the insights about how you can save in your home. Info at jjburke.com if you want to contact us, and then also get in for a drawing. We had several that we had a thermostat last week that we gave away.
Absolutely.
That was great, so we'll have something new. But we've got a special guest in with us this morning, kind of a weekly basis. We've been having a nice plethora of guests that have come through the doors.
Yeah, these are people that, and most of these people are folks that I actually use. So today our guest is Wes from Johnson's Electric, and we're excited because I call on them. I don't know how many years now, Wes. I've been calling forever, I think.
Quite a few.
Yeah, and basically they are always prompt, and whenever I call them day or night, I don't know if he enjoys me calling him at night, but I call and say, hey, I've got a customer that's got a problem, and they come right out. So we appreciate you being here, Wes. I'm sorry, I got a frog in my throat all of a sudden. First, Wes, tell us a little bit about how long has Johnson's Electric been in business in Lawton?
Since 1948.
1948. Wow.
It was originally my granddad who started it.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Oh, good family business.
Yeah,
kind of connection with the Burks there.
And so he's the Pat Johnson. His father runs it now. I really think Wes is kind of what do you say? I don't know. Kind
grooming for heir appoint.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's
apprentice that goes into
and he's doing a great job, and he's kind of like some of my younger guys are always trying to make things more efficient and doing, like he said, he's using iPads and all kinds of things in the field, so everything's becoming more technical. And I know my dad didn't even know how to use the computer. He'd tell you all he could play was solitaire on the computer. So but we appreciate you being here, Wes. But so first, tell us a little bit about we do maintenance agreements at J&J Burke, and so I know that you guys, because I've asked, have a program, and so exactly what is the program, and what do you do when you go out to do, because most people don't think about doing maintenance on, should I have my electric checked? I mean,
because it either works or it doesn't work. That's kind of
until
what
sparks fly out. Do we wait for that? I mean, what exactly does that mean?
Yeah, it's a safety and savings plan is what we call it. And this and that. It's basically just preventative maintenance. It's we come in with the infrared camera. We'll shoot the panel and stuff. We do your safety inspection, once a year, everything. We go through with your plugs and stuff and just check everything, make sure nothing's heating up or having any problems like that.
What does an infrared camera have to do with electrical? I
know it has something to do with heat.
I know. So it just shows you the heat that's...
Well, it shows you the problems that are starting, before in your panel. So you'll show the hot spots where everything's, you get started heating up in this right here, and it shows you, you can check out that bus and see if it's actually a problem, or, it just, highlights all the hot spots basically in it for us. And same thing on the plug. A lot of these plugs in Lawton are stabbed in the back, and it'll show you if a plug's sitting there heating up and if it's fixing to short out, or, possibly even prevent a fire, if it gets hot enough.
Well, we definitely want to know that, because you don't want your house to catch on fire. I know when we go to a lot of houses, Wes, we call you guys because we see that. What do they call that? The wire that's exposed and got the little, was it knob and tube? Knob and tube. And it was a new deal to, it's way old. It's in older houses that it's not legal anymore. It's not, but it's like open wire. It's just wire that's in your attic, and it's
ran on insulators and stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. It looks like little knobs that come up and
See, I don't know. You're not speaking my language.
Well,
so
the first time I saw one, which was years ago, but I started thinking, well, what if you crawled across that or touched that? And so what would happen? I mean, I know what would happen now because I asked.
Did you? Hold this, Jay.
I'm like, yeah, can you hold this one in? It's a very dangerous situation to have that in your house. Is that not right?
Oh, yes. I mean, anytime you've anybody spliced into it or anything else, I mean, there's not a good way to make a connection into it. So, I mean, at that point, that you got that old cloth insulation and stuff. So anytime it's touched, it just falls right off. And so basically, you have a bare wire at that point, and it's kind of going down through the same insulators and stuff in your wall. And if you go in there and try to put insulation in it, and then it causes a problem there. It starts heating up.
Yeah, we actually had a customer that tried to actually blow his own insulation. He went to Lowe's or somewhere and got the insulate machine and was going to blow it in his attic. And he just said, just before I do that, Jay, he said, I know you insulate attics. And he said, this has got this funny looking wire. Can you come look? And I went out, and it was the knob and tube. And I told him, you can't blow insulation on top of that. You got to get it fixed. And so I know they went out and rewired his house for him. And it was, it could have been a house fire, definitely, because that stuff is, and it's dangerous. I don't even let my guys in attics that have it in there. I'm like, nope, we're gonna call Johnson's because that's the end of that. We're not getting up there, and it's very dangerous. So, and people don't know that. They don't know what's in their house, and so in my mind, I mean, electrical's kind of it's kind of like heating and air. Until you have a problem, you don't really, you don't know much about it. Yeah, you just don't. Yeah. And so I think people have to be educated on the fact that it is a good thing to have your panels checked and have, we go out a lot of times now, and what we see, we call them 60 amp meters, and they're just the round meter that's on the outside of your house. And Wes can tell you that every house that if we use a gas furnace, those have to be upgraded, and now you got to pay for it, and PSO will come out and remount your new meter, put your meter back on, and they'll unhook the power from your house. But Wes and them do all of that. That's what a lot of what we do with them is we call them and say, all right, we've got a meter base where it comes into your house that's not big enough to handle, a new home, what you have now. Because back in the old days, they didn't have computers and TV, all the stuff that we have powered in now. And so you only had a 60 amp meter, which you can use. I mean, you can use that on an air conditioner these days, so and again, they come out and they redo it, and they put up, get the wire up high enough. I've seen wires. I just went to one the other day. The wires were laying in the backyard. The actual power wire from the pole was laying in the backyard. And so that's something I haven't even told Wes about that yet. He's going to have to go out and take a look about seeing how we got to get that fixed. But, another thing, Wes, is, I have a lot of customers ask me all the time, they try to run their own circuits for stuff. They'll try to put in a bathroom fan and run their own circuit. And I always try to tell people, unless you're an electrician, I don't think that's good policy. I mean, it worries me. And as an electrician, does that worry you?
Oh, yes. We run across that stuff all the time. And necessarily, most people, it doesn't save them any money, too, because the time we go back and redo everything, it takes twice as long to try to figure out what they did. So, yeah, and they can get very dangerous too.
Yeah, it's a bad thing when you have your guy show up and all he does is shake his head. Yeah. He doesn't really want to say anything because he doesn't know who did it. And what's wrong? What's going on? Well, whoever did this.
I only have
fill
power.
In the blank.
I only have power in half my house.
Yeah.
And they don't understand why.
This electrical outlet doesn't work.
Yeah. and they wire. I've seen them where they wire a breaker. People will take wire and shove it into another breaker that's being used for something else to run more power to some. To a fan or to a new ceiling fan or something like that. And they say, well, every time I turn the fan on, it blows my microwave. Well, you're wired it into the microwave. I mean, it's not designed to be done like that. And so, but these guys are top notch. And one of the things with all the storms and stuff, and one of the things I want to talk about is, do you guys do generators?
Yes, we do.
And so it's not an electric generator, right? It's powered usually by natural gas.
Natural gas or propane, yes.
Okay, and just, I mean, I know there's all different kinds of sizes, and people try to go to Lowe's and Home Depot or somewhere and buy the little bitty one and put gasoline in it and run something. They'll even try to run our heaters off of it, which burns our control boards up, and they call us and say, all of a sudden my heater doesn't work either. And well, it's not powered right because it doesn't give the right amount of power. It's so
maybe just enough to run your refrigerator and maybe one appliance, basically one of the small ones.
And it doesn't give constant equal power, I think, is really the
And
problem.
I think even with y'all's heat and air units and stuff, some of the newer units, you've got to have the right frequency to be able to run it. So
Exactly.
a lot of those little generators won't run it. And then they have to be very careful at that point. You know, they're using some kind of transfer switch or something like that where, you know, not only is it going to be potential if the power comes back on, it's going to like blow up your generator or whatever. I mean, you got to watch out for PSO too, because it goes back up that line, goes back up the transformer, and sends voltage back out there in their lines that they're working on. So
it can hurt them as well.
You can get in trouble.
Well, because I guarantee you, when people start losing power, we see those semi trucks that come through town, level full of generators, and they're selling them in the parking lots, you know, for $300 or $400.
So, what would you recommend? I mean, what's the size? What's the average that would be able to run what you need for it to run?
It all depends on mainly your heat and this and that, and what you can run. If you're trying to run this, you know, electric heater, this and that, you know, that's going to change your size of your generator quick.
And what price level do they start? And then I know they either start from some point and then go up from there.
Well, I mean, you have like the whole house generators and stuff, you know, they have some smaller ones that you can just kind of pick and choose a few circuits on your transfer switch where, you know, and just
only
run those
running
essentials.
These things. Yes, I got you.
And then they have, you know, the ones that'll do the entire house and stuff, which, you know, they can.
Ballpark, how much is the one for just the basic essentials?
I mean, you're talking $5,000, you know,
Right.
up to $8,000 for one that can run a normal 100 amp house.
Okay.
Yeah. And the good thing I liked about it was the fact that, you know, I know we've had some storms here that knocked down poles before, and we've been without for days. And
Yes.
No, and it's
Ice storms especially.
It's May. Well, even in May.
Yeah.
You know, we had a big storm of years back that was in May, and some people were without for a week, and it gets hot. And, you know, some people can't live without air conditioning, and especially
some people. Really?
Well, elderly,
Yeah.
some
I
elderly, and
understand.
people on oxygen, and you've got situations that they just can't make it without power.
You don't realize how important a generator is and your electricity is until the point you have to go without it for a couple of weeks, and then it gets, you know,
Yeah,
a lot more important.
Well,
I don't think it even takes a couple of weeks. It takes about 20 minutes, and we're all upset. I don't have no TV. I have no phone. I don't have any.
I can't even charge my cell
I
phone.
can't do anything.
I've got to go to work to charge my cell phone.
Now, Johnson's Electric is also going to be this week's prize. So why don't you go ahead and tell us what it is and what this entails?
Okay. We're going to give away one of our safety and savings plan. I mean, like we talked about earlier, that does that. We have a yearly inspection on it. Also, it covers lifetime warranties on all of our installations on stuff, double warranties on the repairs we made. Basically, it makes you a priority customer, so you're front of line service.
It's nice.
Also, 15% discount on all of our on everything pretty much except for generators.
That's a $150 value. So if you want to be a part of that, say, you know, just like last week, we just said, just go to info@jjburk.com. Just put your name and your contact information right there where we can get a hold of you. Go in for a drawing, and at the end of today's program, we're going to draw, and then we'll select that and give you a call if you've won the Johnson's Electric Service Agreement, the Safety and Savings Program, for a $150 value. Info@jjburk.com or call 581-3605 to our direct phone line.
Absolutely. And you know, I think, too, people, customers of mine all the time say, you know, I go in their houses and they'll have 1 million extension cords plugged in. And you see these little house extension cords, and they're plugged in and they're running maybe the freezer. And the cords are actually, you know, and I'll even reach down, 'cause sometimes, you know, the little brown ones that they buy at, you know, Walmart or whatever, and they've got the freezer hooked up to that because the freezer wasn't close enough to the plug. And I reach down, you touch it, and it's hot. I mean, it is, you can actually feel the heat on that. How dangerous is it to use those little bitty, which I call them house extension cords is what I call them. But if you're going to have to use an extension cord, shouldn't you use a specific type?
If you're going to use a extension cord, a lot of those little basic ones that you can get at Walmart or whatever, you know, are way too small. You need something like a refrigerator. If you had something like a 12 gauge cord or something, they actually make a little appliance, little extension cords and stuff too, you know, that are rated a lot heavier, and they're not going to heat up like the other ones.
But much easier if they call Johnson's Electric and say, hey, can you come put me a plug close enough to my freezer so I can just plug directly in?
The safest and best way, just not have to have those cords at all.
Exactly. I think that's what the fire department would say, too. Those things are very dangerous. And so when you do the safety and savings inspection, you also, I guess, you check out smoke detectors and, fire alarms. I don't know. Tell me what all that entails.
We go through all the smoke detectors, check all your smoke detectors, go ahead and change the battery in them just in case we're once a year, and get all those.
And that's a good thing, because I'm going to be honest with you, Wes, I forget to check my own. I just don't remember how long it's been. And next thing you know, it's been 3 years and the battery has exploded in my detector. I mean, Eric, you've never seen that, have you? At all?
Yeah.
So I think that having everything in your house checked annually is a good thing, and making sure that your house is safe. And tell us, I know these generators, people don't, sometimes they think I have to go out and I have to start the generator and I have to get it to come on once my power goes off. But these have automatic transfer switches. So basically when the power goes off, kind of explain to us how it knows the power goes off and comes back on.
Yeah, it's got these smart transfer switches in there. So basically the generator will go ahead and start itself up. It'll warm itself up, and it'll automatically transfer your power over there. And as soon as the electricity comes back on, it'll transfer it back to utility after it's been on for as long as it's consistent for 5 minutes. It'll transfer it back to the utility power, and then the generator will cool itself off and shut back off.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So you don't have to worry about going out and when do I turn it on. And I think these generators are so high tech these days that generator kind of tests itself weekly or monthly or.
Yes, once a week it'll run itself at a certain time of day and do like a quiet test mode, half RPMs, just it'll run itself and make sure everything's working right. And if it has some kind of problems, it'll pop out a code there and give you a flashing red light or something if it's getting out issues.
I like that. Smart technology, because then, if you're waiting for the storm to hit and then it's not been checked out, you can't even get it on.
Yeah, the thing didn't come on, And the thing I like is because you even have a monitor inside, usually in the garage somewhere. So if something were to happen and it didn't come on, or we're starting to have a problem during one of the test modes, it has a light. I've seen them that you guys have put in that the light's flashing and it's telling you, there might be something wrong. Better get Johnson's Electric out here to check out my generator. So I know a lot of people around here, they have them. I mean, more and more homes have them. And, there's so many different brands out there. I know there's Generac and all these other different brands. But is there a specific brand that you guys sell?
Yeah, we do 90% of the Generac and stuff like that. And
good. So that's a good brand.
Yeah, we've had good luck with them. They also, the generators also, gives you the code for maintenance and stuff too. So we do a lot of maintenance agreements on these generators too. Go around and service them and change the oil, spark plugs, air filter, and stuff like that once a year.
I know that Lennox tried to get into the generator business for a while. They thought it was something they ought to do, and I know that Johnson's took over a lot of our maintenance plans on our generators because, and Lennox doesn't sell them anymore, but that was years ago. But it's good to get a company that's what they do, and Generac I think it's been a good, and I think it's a reasonable price level of a generator too. I mean, some of them you can buy I've seen some that are $20,000 and more, So I would definitely figure out what I wanted to use, and I agree. I think you don't have to use one that does. And now some people say I want everything in my house to work. Mm-hmm. I want my house to relight back up, And I've got customers like that I've referred you guys to, and you went out there and put a big enough generator.
Yeah.
Looked like a small car,
to do everything.
Yeah. I mean,
some of those people, they want the total electric. They got total electric houses and they want a generator. Well, you had to go up into at least the 25s and 30s, which is a commercial generator, and it's a liquid cooled engine, and it's almost twice as much as the other one. So
right,
you can get up there.
Right.
We're going to take a break and come back and join our special guest from Johnson's Electric, offering a service agreement for safety and savings, $150 value. Just contact us with your question, maybe for the show, each and every, or maybe who you'd like to see as a guest in the future, because we've gone from roofing to electric to CenterPoint Energy to AEP. Info at JJBurk.com. We appreciate your comments. And then also, we'll put you in for the drawing for the $150 service agreement from Johnson's Electric, or you can call 581-3605. Well, talk about a little more rebates and what to do to not wait until the last minute when it comes to the heating season, because it is upon us. Don't let the storms and the cool weather this morning fool you. It is here. We'll be back right after this, the J&J Burke Home Show on KLAW 101.
Hi, I'm Jay Burke from J&J Burke Heating and Air. At J&J Burke, we've combined the rebates from PSO and CenterPoint Energy to save you up to $7,000 on the most energy-efficient systems available. J&J Burke is a 2014 and 2015 PSO Partner of the Year for the entire state of Oklahoma. We're still the best at getting you the rebates. So call us at 1-800-AIR-REPAIR or go to jjburke.com and learn how you can save thousands today. I'm Jay Burke, and you can count on my company because you can count on me. Hi, Jay Burke here from J&J Burke Heating and Air. At J&J Burke, we've been helping you save money and have a more energy-efficient home with the Power Forward rebate program. Now, we can help you save even more. At J&J Burke, we've added rebates from CenterPoint Energy. Now, the combination of rebates from PSO and CenterPoint Energy could save you thousands on the purchase of the most energy-efficient heating and cooling systems available. If your energy bills are too high, and whose aren't, call J&J Burke and use the new PSO and CenterPoint Energy combined rebate program. J&J Burke is a 2014 PSO Partner of the Year for the entire state of Oklahoma. We are the best at getting you the rebates. So call us at 1-800-AIR-REPAIR or find us online at jjburke.com and learn how J&J Burke, PSO, and CenterPoint Energy can save you even more money now. I'm Jay Burke, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
All right, it's the J&J Burke Home Show here at KLAW 101, live from the studios of downtown 6th and D Avenue. And, this is a great opportunity to call you, Jay. I know that you give free estimates. We got to mention that because it's, a lot. Well, is it going to be a service call for him just to tell me what's up with my heat and air? Oh, and by the way, he's going to tell me that it all needs to be replaced, and there may be people that do that, but I know that's not how you operate. So what I want to do is really get the person that's on the fence. Well, it's still pretty cool. It was like 50-some degrees this morning when I got out. I got plenty of time. Well, you wait for June when we're baking, and then it goes out. And then, oh, by the way, it's going to be a day or two until I get you because we're backlogged with other people that are in front of you. So it's not like, hey, I'm going to drop everything I'm doing and get to you at this point. So it's probably best to do it now. Not only the rebate stuff, we just talked about how they are depleted of their funds, and maybe you'll come back in August. But it's a great time to get knowledgeable about your system. And if nothing else, get your ducts cleaned, which would be a big thing we talked about.
Absolutely. Right now, we've had a lot of people calling because, it's allergy season. Every kind of thing is blooming, and people are saying, I've got allergies, stuff hanging out of my ductwork, and we go out and clean their ductwork. So definitely you want to get on the list for that. And we're running some specials actually on ductwork cleaning. So call the office or email us, and we will definitely get you an estimate on that. We can do that over the phone. As far as your units, I suggest to people, get on our maintenance plan. Because if you get on the maintenance plan, you do have priority service. You're guaranteed same-day service. So I don't care if it may be 10 o'clock at night before we get to you, but we have enough technicians that we're going to keep working until we get everybody that day that's called in that's a maintenance customer.
That's great.
They come first.
Wow.
Yeah. So
it pays to be on the maintenance program.
Yeah, but if you're not and you call in, and I promise you it'll happen, because I was just looking at the 10-day weather forecast, and next Friday it's 87. And so with probably 80% humidity, as much rain as we've been having, and it's not nice on a weekend to your air conditioner to go out and you have to pay somebody some crazy overtime rates. And if you're one of our Comfort Club members, you don't pay overtime rates. We come out, it doesn't matter what day it is, what time it is, you don't pay overtime. You don't pay any extra fees. We come out and we take care of you. But you have to call us and get set up on that, and then we can come out and let's go ahead and check it now. Now's the time to check it out, make sure everything's okay. And it sometimes it is just cleaning it and making sure it's things are oiled and things are right. And if we do see something, we'll make recommendations to you. But it doesn't always mean you're going to need a new unit. Sometimes people's unit, I don't care if your unit's 3 or 4 years old. If you're not maintaining it twice a year, you're making a mistake. Because, even warranties are dependent upon whether or not you maintain your system. Every manufacturer requires you. It's kind of like buying a car and never changing the oil, right, and take it in after a few months and say, well, the engine blew up. And they say, well, okay, did you ever get the oil changed? Well, I didn't know how to do that. We have that with heating and air. And I know that's just people not thinking about it because we forget. We put it in, And how long ago did we put that air conditioner in? And usually I'll go out to somebody's house and I'll say, how old is your air conditioner? And they'll say, 7 or 8 years old. Well, no, it was put in 16 years ago. And they're like, oh my God, it's been 16 years.
Yeah, I understand.
And so, but basically what we're saying is, it's better to be safe than sorry. And you're right. It's going to heat up and it won't be long. And we'll be having 50 to 100 calls a day. And you don't want to be on a list.
It's kind of like the rebate stuff too. Is there'll be plenty of money there, and then it's gone. Otherwise I got plenty of time, and then we're here. So, well, that's this week's show for the J&J Burke Home Show. Of course, make sure that you go to info@jjburke.com. Put in either request or for a guest in the future, a question for the program, question for Jay, just at info@jjburke.com. All of the names with the entries this week will go in for the Johnson Electric Service Agreement, the Safety and Savings Program for $150, or you can call our direct hotline, 581-3605. You two guys have a great weekend.
You too. And just, Wes, what's Johnson's electric phone number in case they want to call you direct?
580-353-4669.
All right. So there you have it.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you next week and have another special guest. And you guys have a pleasant and safe weekend. The J&J Burke Home Show right here on K.